est au bout de Blackmagic Design et plusieurs nouveautés cette année. On est avec Dan May qui va nous parler un peu des nouveaux produits, pas des upgrades, des choses qu'on n'a jamais vues avant. So Dan, can you explain us why this year there's a tiki bar at the Blackmagic booth?
Yeah, no problem. We kind of found that we were over these past couple of years, we kept finding that we were getting more and more technology that was leading us towards an acquisition device. And as we kind of kept thinking about making this acquisition device, we kept seeing these great cameras that were coming out that would just, oh, that's a great camera if we could just, that was a great camera if we could just, and we felt like there was this kind of underserved market segment of folks that wanted to have a film-like camera, but it needed to be kind of accessible to them, and they needed to have real workflow-driven thought behind that. And there's lots of great cameras out there that do a lot of great things, but we're such workflow-oriented people when it comes to capture, acquisition into the computer, how you're going to work with it in the different ways, color grading. These are all things that we've been spending these last kind of 10 years building towards, and eventually it just came to the point where it's like we could do this. We could make this great, empowering film camera, and that's what we've done. So we've announced the Blackmagic Cinema camera. It achieves all of these things we were looking for. It uses some of our HyperDeck technology, so it's recording to a solid-state disc, and that gives you that great high data rate that we need in order to do something like a Cinema DNG RAW capture. We also knew we wanted to have a 2.5K sensor so that we had this great amount of data to be able to use for things like color correction. But we didn't want to just lose sight of that really kind of just that. We wanted that workflow, so it also captures directly to ProRes as well as DNX HD. So these are great workflow implications for being able to just take it and get it straight into an editor and get going, and or you could be doing both of these, and it's got a lot of open flexibility. So it's not a you have to do this, it's a you can use it as you see fit. It's got a high dynamic range, 13 stops, comes with a full version of DaVinci Resolve in there as well. You can use Ultrascope directly out the Thunderbolt port we added on there. And everything's very high tech on the camera. It's all touchscreen driven, so it feels like you've got an iPod type interface to be able to. So it's a very friendly but great high quality camera that people can go out and really create a full production, but with a workflow that they'd be used to seeing in a post-production workflow. And that's kind of what motivated us to make this camera.
So we're now a day and a half into the NAB show, and what are the comments that you maybe didn't thought you would have on this camera that you got?
I think the hardest thing, for us as a manufacturer, we obviously have to make decisions about what we're doing. So it comes down to, okay, so we choose to make EF compatible mounting there. Well, why doesn't it have PL? Why doesn't it have the other? We have to make some decisions about how to make a product get out the door that a lot of people are going to be able to use on day one. And we could add a million different features in there, but you know what's going to happen? It's going to be a $30,000 to $50,000 camera, and there's other guys that make great $30,000 to $50,000 cameras. We wanted to make a $3,000 camera that had so much functionality that it empowers a lot of people that didn't have that kind of functionality, and that lets the guys that want to do that post-production work that may be renting those other great cameras, but that the other 20 days of the month they had their own camera to go out and do cinematography with. So we felt it really fit a nice kind of in-between of that video camera versus high-end film camera.
And yeah, a lot of people coming and say, "Well, you're dead on. That's exactly what I needed."
Yeah, there's a lot of, but after they get over the shock of, hey, this is a Blackmagic camera, there's a lot of that. I could use this tomorrow. July is when people will be able to start. But there's a lot of that. How can I get this as soon as possible, because it fits in a perfect niche that doesn't really exist right now.
Blackmagic a annoncé déjà il y a presque un an qu'ils ont acheté Teranex. Teranex font des convertisseurs, faisaient des convertisseurs très haut de gamme. Et cette année au NAB, on a deux modèles du Teranex version Blackmagic. Alors Dan va nous en parler un peu. So Dan, this year you've announced, well, we knew that you bought Teranex a couple of months ago. Well, not really long ago. And now we have two new units that are Blackmagic branded. So in a nutshell, what does the Teranex do?
Sure.
what Teranex is really known for is super high quality, up conversion, down conversion, cross conversion. Anytime you're really going into these broadcast environments, when people say they're using a Teranex box, it's kind of the premium, you know, if they're using that, it goes across all lines of high quality. There's never any doubt when you say it's a Teranex box doing these kind of conversions. And there was a cost associated with that. You know, a kind of a entry level was in that $10,000, $14,000, $20,000, and then you'd add software features, $2,000 for this, $5,000 for that. And you could get up to a $90,000 box with these Teranex boxes. But you know, that's not really the Blackmagic model of doing things. But we knew they had a great engineering team and great quality, so we made this acquisition, and we just wanted to kind of Blackmagicify the product. So, you know, we have a lot of experience with kind of a miniaturization. So they had this VC100 product that looked very similar to this, but it was really, really deep. So we wanted to miniaturize that down to be a little more rack friendly for you. But really all these connections that you'll see on the back, these SDIs and you know, all of this is really the same. The only thing we really added to it in the, you know, 3 months since we've really been working on it is we added Thunderbolt. Yeah. And that's a really important part because this basically makes us a really great capture card, right? Just like our multi-bridges or our Ultra Studios, this now can function like an I/O device, but with all of that super high quality up-down cross conversion that you're used with Teranex. But of course, we also get to use our buying power and our branding, and we've reduced those prices to be able to make 2 new models. We have a single channel 2D model that we're selling for $19,995, and we have a 3D version which we're selling for $3,995. So $2,000 and $4,000, quite a decrease from the $20,000 plus range. So we're really excited about these products as well.
So, and the main difference between the two, so you have a 1-channel, 2-channel, and the 2-channel has stereo capabilities.
It's really about 3D on that one. If you wanted to just go ahead and have one box to do one thing, this is the box you want, the 2D version. You only want the 3D version if you're really getting into the 3D kind of dual input activity. But functionality-wise, aside from that, they're exactly the same. So,
very nice products. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Beaucoup de mises à jour matérielles chez Blackmagic cette année. Les routers, en fait, à peu près à travers toute la gamme, ils ont intégré le Thunderbolt, ce qui permet de mettre des cartes d'acquisition directement dans le router. C'est dû à la disponibilité maintenant des câbles Thunderbolt de très longue distance, donc on peut avoir des 40 pieds maintenant. Donc, plus besoin d'avoir des câbles entre l'interface de capture Thunderbolt et le router. C'est intégré dans le router, donc on peut directement à même le router envoyer le signal de la carte de capture vers un autre appareil et vice-versa. On a aussi une nouvelle gamme de mini converters. C'est des convertisseurs maintenant dans lesquels ils ont intégré une batterie. Donc, plus besoin d'avoir un power supply externe ou de l'alimenter avec la batterie de la caméra. Donc, les convertisseurs ont une autonomie de quelques heures. On parle de 2, 3 ou 4 heures dépendamment du convertisseur. Donc, c'est beaucoup plus adapté au travail sur les plateaux pour les convertisseurs sur les caméras. Une nouveauté, en fait, un upgrade, un nouveau modèle chez Blackmagic, dans les HyperDeck Studio. C'est le HyperDeck Studio Pro, c'est l'enregistreur numérique de Blackmagic, enregistré sur des disques SSD. L'HyperDeck Studio Pro, plusieurs améliorations, donc plusieurs entrées et sorties professionnelles à l'arrière, du RS422, plein de trucs comme ça. Et bien sûr aussi attendait une entrée Thunderbolt. Donc maintenant, on va pouvoir capturer directement du HyperDeck Studio, donc ça vient lui aussi une interface de capture. Et ils ont intégré aussi des ultrascopes, donc c'est très pratique si on est en train de faire un enregistrement, de pouvoir brancher un portable après l'HyperDeck Studio Pro et d'avoir les scopes, savoir exactement ce qui rentre dans notre appareil pour le monitorer.